Well, hello the humans, if you certainly said, look at this thing. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough to be doing it too. This is the rampant dinosaur that is the Tier 2 French TD that's come to us in patch 4.0. This is the FTAC, and you could well be forgiven for thinking that stood for French Tank Air Conditioner. It actually looks a fair bit like Wall-E from the Disney movie of the same name. You can see that's Wall-E hanging up there in the right-hand corner. He's a little dude with tracks and some big goggles. Has struggles getting through boxes. It's only very, very little. It's a cute tank. It's Tier 2. You're only going to play it for a little while, and then you're going to get enough XP to march on to the UE57. But it does have something very, very interesting going for it that you won't find anywhere else, unfortunately, in the French TD line. And that's an autoloader. The FTAC actually has two guns. It's got a lovely autoloader, which is the 25mm automatic MLE 1936, which spits out 12 shells for 12 average damage per shell, which gives you an average alpha with 4 pen of 844. See, I did my times tables at school. I know my way around the times tables pretty bloody well. I'm not going to show you the armor profile. It's got no armor, right? Don't worry about the armor too much. It's so little, and it actually has a traverse speed of 43 degrees, which is ridiculous for a tank that only goes, and this is the killer. So you've got a 43 traverse speed and a top speed of 25 kilometers an hour. So you're not particularly quick, but again, you're Tier 2, so you're playing against other Tier 2 tanks, which aren't really renowned for being the most amazing tanks ever. And if you do want to experience the thrill of driving a French autoloader, this is the only one you're going to be able to experience that thrill with. Of course, there is another option on the tank. You can drive it with the 47mm SAL MLE 1937, and that will give you the opportunity to blow stuff up with a gun that does a little bit more in terms of bang for your buck. It has 69mm of pen on its AP and 115 on its APCR, which is actually quite a lot for Tier 2, and will pump out 60 alpha damage on average for that AP round at 17.14 rounds a minute, which is bloody quick. 0.359 dispersion at Tier 2 is also nothing to be scoffed at, but Wall-E, or the French air conditioner, is going to struggle to really pump out massive numbers because, in all honesty, it is very, very tough at this tier to dominate unless you're driving an exceptionally strong tank, and Wall-E's just kicking the dead horse there. It's there you go. And this certainly doesn't feel like a seal clubber. You can see there the armor profile isn't terribly large. It's an open cockpit, and you're just going to get spanked pretty hard. But it's only a bit of a stepping stone tank, as Tier 2 tanks are meant to be. Now, I'm going to have a chat about the Tier 4 French tank now, and this is a more serious and important tank to know about, because you're probably going to have to play this one for a little while if you want to grind through the French line. This is the ARLV 39. Sorry, that's not the ARLV. That's not the ARLV 39. I got French tanks on the brain. It is in fact the SAL 40. If you ever drove a tank in the game World War II Online, you'd remember the S-35. It was a very, very formidable French tank in that game, and this tank has a very, very similar profile to it. It's going to come up against guys like this, though, the DW2, and when it does, it's going to find that it has absolutely no armour. Now, the DW2 has a lovely 75mm gun, so don't be surprised that it's showing a lot of clear armour, but there are also spaces that it can pen with HE frontally. All those things are not terribly good. The armor profile is quite pants, in fact. And in terms of speed, well, it's reasonable. 37 kilometers an hour for its tier is actually pretty solid. And its traverse of 44.34 degrees is great. That's really good traverse and good numbers. It's the kind of tank that you don't want to play from the front line. It's close support. You want to follow tanks like DW2s, and medium tanks and get around the traps with those and do your level best. But as you can see from just AP, there is nothing on this tank that's going to give you a whole lot of joy. The gun, though, that I used, the 75mm SA44, is pretty good. The gun above that is a 105mm howitzer style gun, which has high explosive as a standard round that fires with 30mm of pen, and I would not recommend it. It's it might be a bit of a giggle, but if you're serious about it, you're going to be running the Tier 5 75mm gun. So it does have a very solid gun. 100mm a pen on its AP, 129 on its APCR, 7.3 rounds a minute, and 160 alpha, which is standard for all those 75mm guns that you find running around out there. It moves fairly quickly. It's got a good aim time. It's got a dispersion of 0.350. 3.7 is your aim time. That is without all the bells and whistles on. You can get it lower than that if you add those on. These are bare bone stats running one large provisions. I've not got anything other than the basic equipment loadouts assigned to this tank. So don't start thinking that I'm running all the spare parts in the world and all that kind of thing. So it could conceivably be improved quite considerably. And if you do need to pen, because it's a 75mm gun at Tier 4, you are able to still do 135 damage on average, your alpha, using your APCR. But your AP, pretty good pen numbers at 100mm. Anyway, that's it for the Sour 40 and the Wall-E or the FTAC. There's lots of other French vids I've been doing today, and the Foch 155 should be up now as well, which is the Tier 10 variant. I'm Bushka on Blitz. Make sure you like the videos, subscribe to the channel, hang out, leave comments in the thread below if you want to let me know or have any questions, and don't forget to say good day to the other humans. Be nice to your family and stay safe on the battlefield.